Hi, it's Scott from Wood Lake Nature Center, and today it's early March and it's really warm out, almost 50 degrees. The snow is melting, and last night it was actually below freezing. So when it's below freezing at night and above freezing during the day, that is when the sap starts to flow up the maple trees to feed the buds of the flowers and the leaves so that they can get energy. So that sap, it's got water from the ground that comes in the roots, and it picks up a little bit of sugar as it goes through the roots. That's the energy to open the leaf buds and flower buds. So on a beautiful day like today, we can actually collect the sap, which eventually we will boil down and turn into maple syrup. So today I'm going to show you just how easy it is to make maple syrup. And so we've got a silver maple tree, and remember, any maple tree will work. The only difference is every maple tree species has a different amount of sugar in the sap. So these silver maples run 2 to 3, sometimes 4% sugar in the sap. If we had sugar maples, we'd be running 8, 9, 10. I've even heard of sugar maples having up to 14% sugar in the sap. So it's less work the more sugar you have in the sap. So if you have a sugar maple in your yard, that'd be the one to tap. But we only have silver maples because we're in a lowland forest. These roots of these trees are right down in the water table. They're some of the first trees to start running in the spring because they've got that access to water. So you need to find a tree that's at least 12 inches in diameter at chest height. So this one's about 15. We can actually put 2 taps in this tree. If it were over 20, we could have 3 taps. Never more than 3 taps, no matter how big the tree gets. You'll notice we've already got a tap in there. So I'm going to tap another one. Find a spot on the tree that looks really good. Underneath a big branch is always nice. And using a 1/2 inch bit with a Brason bit, or you could use an electric drill if you'd like. Find a spot on the tree, and at a slight upward angle, we're going to drill about 2 to 3 inches into the sapwood of the tree. Maintain that slight upward angle. That's all the farther we need to go, just into the sapwood. We don't want to get all the way to the heartwood. I'm going to clean out the hole just a little bit to get all the shavings out of there. Sounds like a bird chirping, but that's just my drill needs a little oil. And there we go. We have a nice clean hole. Now you'll see sap is already dripping out. So then we have a little spout that we call a spile. And the spile fits into that hole, and it's tapered. Now your spile should be very clean. I've boiled these spiles so that they're very sanitary. We don't want to invite any germs into the tree. And I'm going to put it right in the hole. You can see it's tapered. I'm going to stick it in there. Then I'm going to use a hammer with a piece of wood, because hammers are very hardened steel and our spiles are cast aluminum. So you should put a piece of wood on there so you don't break the spile, and tap it into the tree. There's a little marker on the spile. And when you tap a tree like this, don't hesitate to get a few drops in your hand and taste that fresh, sweet sap directly as it's coming out of the tree. They even sell it in Europe as a health drink. A little bit sweet. Tastes like slightly sweet water, and that's what it is. A few minerals in there too. So you can see it's dripping today. Just a few drips per minute. So that's not really fast. I've had some trees actually run out on days when it's flowing very well. So then we have a sap sack in a sap sack holder. You can see there's a metal ring. The bag folds around the edge so it holds the bag open. It sits in this holder right here. And then there's a hole right here in the middle that we can slip over, and now that will catch all the sap overnight that drips into this bag. Now these kits with the spile, the sap bag holder, and the sap bag, you can purchase at Wood Lake. We have a limited number of kits. They're $10 each. And we also have replacement bags in case you bought some last year and your bags are worn out or squirrels chewed holes in them. Check the bags every day. If there's only a little bit of sap, you don't need to collect, but when it gets half full or more, it's a good idea to collect the sap, and I'll show you how we do that. The nice thing about these bags, we have these nice clean pickle buckets that we collect sap in. We only use these for sap. Now you'll notice there's ice in the bag from last night because it was so cold. The ice is just frozen water. The sap with the sugar in it does not freeze. So I really don't need all that ice. So the beauty of this type of system is I can just tilt the bag, leave the holder on the tree, and get all that fresh sap without even taking it off the tree. Now, if the tree is a kind of a funnier shape, you might have to take the bag off the tree to get the sap. I'm getting caught in this other tree right there. We'll just leave that ice in there to melt because, again, it's just water. So now we've got the sap. And we're going to pour it into a larger can so we can go collect more. And if you'd like to come out and see how we do it in person and help us collect sap, we will be doing maple syrup classes every Saturday and Sunday in March. Saturdays at 10 o'clock and 1 o'clock, Sundays at 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock. So pre-register online on our website and come out and give us a hand collecting sap. We'll be demonstrating again how to tap the trees, but you and your family can help us collect the sap, which is a lot of work. Next, we'll be going back to the building to show how you can boil it down to make syrup. So now we're back at the building and we've collected our sap. It's important to keep the sap cool. So we'll keep it outdoors. We might even set it in snow in our courtyard. Keep it in the shade and keep it really cool. Or if you have a refrigerator that you can fit a bucket into, really good idea to keep it cold in your garage or an outbuilding of some kind, or even in your refrigerator, because sap will spoil. So you need to boil it within typically 5 days. But if it starts getting really warm out, like it will in the next few days, it's supposed to be in, then maybe 2 to 3 days. Otherwise, if the sap starts to yellow, it can start to spoil. If you taste it and it tastes kind of bitter, don't boil it down. Pour it out and collect new sap. So here we've got a stock pot, a 4-gallon stock pot, just like you could buy. It's made out of stainless steel. And I've got it on a propane stove. It's a really good idea. You can see all the steam evaporating. If you do this inside your house on your kitchen stove, it's going to peel the wallpaper off your walls, make your windows really steamy. We've even had problems with the roof of the ceiling getting really, really wet. So you can see it boiling down there. It's not turning brown yet, but it'll turn more brown the more sugar that gets concentrated. As the water evaporates, we concentrate the sugar, and eventually the heat will caramelize the sugar, turning it that rich brown color that you associate with maple syrup. So I have to keep adding to the pot. So I'm going to take it out of our collection can that we have, and I'm going to strain it just because there might have gotten a little bark or pieces of leaves in it, just with a kitchen strainer. Now I want to add it to the pot, but I want to add it very slowly because I don't want to stop it from boiling. If I kill the boil, then I'm going to actually slow down the process, and it can change the flavor of your syrup. So I've got a coffee can, an old metal coffee can with a little nail hole punched in the bottom of it. I'm going to suspend that over my, my boiling pot using a couple of rulers, or you could use sticks, whatever you like. And then I'm going to add the sap to that so that it just drizzles out. And this way I can add about 3/4 of a gallon at a time. And you can see that it's just adding a little bit so it's not killing the boil. I can keep the level up in the pan as it boils down. Now as this boils down, it's going to get thicker and thicker, and pretty soon it's going to start getting very dark, and you'll notice it start to foam up. At that point, you want to stop cooking it on a very hot stove like this, bring it inside your kitchen, and put it on your stove where you can control the temperature, because you need to control the temperature and turn it down so it doesn't boil over. The more sugar gets in there, the boiling point is lowered, and then it'll boil over like crazy. So when it gets to 219 degrees, that is the magic number that is syrup. You'll know that water boils at about 212, so 7 degrees above the boiling point of water is the magic number for syrup. At that point, I'd stop the cooking process, filter it through cheesecloth or maybe similar kind of paper coffee filters, or you can actually buy an Orlon filter just for filtering maple syrup at some maple syrup stores. I think even Fleet Farm has them for sale now. So maple syrup supplies are available through Fleet Farm or other places, but you can buy everything online these days. So an Orlon filter would be the key thing. We actually triple filter it with triple Orlon bags and then a wool felt filter, which are a little more expensive, but they really produce a nice product. So then filter it, put it into sanitized bottles, and you're set to go. That's all there is to it. So come visit us on the weekends in March. See how our process works. We're doing it outside. Our building is still closed. We will, if we collect enough sap, we will be firing up our big evaporator. We have a 40-gallon evaporator pan with a 150-gallon collection tank. You'll be able to see it through the windows and doors, but we'll be showing you how we cook it down the old-fashioned way in a smaller quantity like this, which is more what you would do at home. And remember that every 40 gallons, so these are 20-gallon garbage cans, so 20 gallons is going to boil down to a half a gallon of syrup, right? So so it's a lot of energy, a lot of time to boil all this down, but we think it's worth it. It's a great natural sweetener, and it's good on everything. Thanks for watching, and come out and visit us at Wood Lake.